Hey guys, it's Fleur here. So today on the BRIDAL channel I wanted to do a video all about wedding makeup. Now, a lot of people get nervous about wedding makeup and they don't know whether to get a makeup artist to do their makeup for their wedding day or whether to do it by themselves, because sometimes makeup artists can make you look not like yourself, you know what I mean? And on your wedding day, you really want to look like the best version of yourself. So often doing your own makeup is probably the best way to go. If you do want to do your own makeup, I made this video to really be a bit of a recommendation of different products that I think are amazing for wedding makeup. Also some tips and tricks on how to make your makeup last, and also how to do your makeup a little bit differently for your wedding day so that you're still gonna look like yourself, but just a very natural kind of enhanced version of yourself. So I hope you guys enjoy it. This is the look that I'm going to be showing you today. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you really want to concentrate on when you're doing wedding makeup is prep. So you really want to make sure your skin is really nicely moisturized. What I really would recommend is a makeup setting spray or a makeup priming spray to use both before you apply your products and during your application as well. And the one that I'm using today is the Urban Decay B6 spray, which is a vitamin infused complexion prep spray. And I'm also prepping my lips using a little bit of lip balm just to make sure I've got no kind of dry skin or anything on my lips. If you do want to use a lip scrub, if you have really dry lips, I would recommend that as well. Then I'm using a primer. A primer is really important for your wedding day because you essentially want to make sure your makeup stays on for as long as possible, but also stays looking its very best for as long as possible. I'm using the Kat Von D Lock-It Featherweight Primer for this, but you can use another one if you prefer, if you've got one that you really like, or another recommendation that I love is the Laura Mercier one, which they actually make in a moisturizing, luminizing, and oil-free formulas, and they're all really, really good. Moving on to foundation, today I'm using the Dior Forever foundation, which is one of my all-time favorite foundations for a few reasons. Firstly, it has amazing coverage, like medium to high, but it's very, very buildable. Secondly, it lasts for a really, really long time. But thirdly, and most importantly for your wedding day, it looks really natural on the skin. It's not cakey, it's not drying, it's not too heavy, it's just got a really, really beautiful finish. And I'm applying this using my beauty blender, and that's something as well that I would 100% recommend investing in if you are doing your own makeup for your wedding day, as a beauty blender, because they just apply foundation so flawlessly to the skin and just make it look really dewy and fresh. Definitely wet your beauty blender before you want to apply it to your skin. So all you need to do is just take it and run it under the tap and squeeze out the water, get it in a towel and really make sure that any excess water is gone, but it basically doubles in size. And this will just make sure that your beauty blender is not sucking up all your foundation and you basically are wasting product, but it also just really helps you get a very natural, flawless, beautiful finish. Then for concealer, I'm using my Guerlain Multi-Perfecting Concealer, and I love this because it's very hydrating. It's not dry, it's not cakey, but it's really, really good coverage, really brightening under the eyes, and if you have any blemishes as well, it's not going to cling to them. Really love that, and I'm actually applying this using my ring fingers just to make sure you have a lighter touch. So whenever you're applying things around your eye area, you should really use your ring finger so that you're not pulling on the delicate skin, and also it just helps, the warmth of your finger will help the product to kind of blend into the skin more seamlessly as well. So once I've done that with my finger a little bit, I can also use my beauty blender just to make sure I get that totally flawless finish. I'm also using a YSL Touche Eclat as a highlighter once I'm done with all of the kind of coverage based products. This is a product that often gets mistaken as a concealer, and a lot of you guys may have used this, or you may use it as a concealer. It's actually meant to be a highlighter. Even though it does have concealing properties, it's best used as a highlighter under your eyes. So the best way to use it is just along your cheekbones, along your brow bone. I also use it along the center of my nose as well, just to really brighten up that area. It does have, like I say, a little bit of coverage in it too, but I like to layer that up, and that's another point that I really wanted to talk about in this video, is layering. Product layering is so important for your wedding day, because if you really want your makeup to last a long time, you really want to be focusing on layering up thin layers of product, and you want to do liquid product or cream product and then powder on top to really lock it into place, and it will make sure it lasts as long as possible. So what I'm doing from now on with all of my colour products as well is applying the liquid or the cream first and then applying the powder on top. So the next thing I'm going to be using is the MUA Luxe Liquid Cushion Highlighter, and this is quite a unique product, but it's really, really beautiful. Again, it's a creamy liquid highlighter. I'm using it just with my finger and just applying it on top of where I've put that touche éclat, just to add a little bit of shimmer before I use my powder highlight. And then I'm going in with a cream bronzer. This is the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel cream bronzer, and I'm not using it quite to contour, but I'm using it to kind of softly shape the face. So I'm using it on a duo fiber brush and just blending it into the hollows of the cheeks and around the edges of the face. Again, not really so much to provide a kind of harsh contour. You can do that if you want to, but for your wedding day makeup, I think that's really just too harsh, for me personally anyway. So I'm just using that and just blending it in. I'm actually not going to set that with a powder bronzer today because I'm just using a powder, a loose powder. Then I'm moving on to my cream blush. This is a Bourjois one, which I absolutely love. It's quite a dry texture, so it's not that kind of cream blush that you can get carried away and it goes all over your face. This is a really good one. I'm applying it using a flat top foundation brush actually, which I really like because it's very, very small. So I'm just buffing that in to get a little bit of color. And then I'm gonna top that off with a Tarte Amazonian Clay blush. These blushes last for a really long time on their own, but if you layer them up over a cream, they last literally all day, and I'm using the more natural kind of flush color just because it's perfect for your wedding day, and kind of layering that up to set that cream blusher into place. And then to set that liquid highlighter in place, I'm using the Becca Champagne Pop powder highlighter. And this looks really scary, and a lot of people wouldn't want a super, super kind of shiny highlighter for their wedding day. But if you use this in the right way with a very small brush and with a light hand, it just looks so, so beautiful and glowing. So I'm just taking that along the cheekbones and on the brow bones as well, really highlighting the high points of the face in a really natural way. And then to lock everything in place foundation-wise, I'm using my Laura Mercier translucent powder, which is a really finely milled, beautiful powder. I'm just using that on a fluffy angled brush and just mainly focusing on areas where you would tend to get a little bit shiny, so on your chin, on your nose, and then also using it to set under my eyes where I've had concealer as well. Then moving on to brows, I'm using the HD Brows Brow Tech pencil, which is so good. It's a mechanical pencil, it's very, very fine, so I'm just filling in my brows with that. One thing I would recommend for your brows for your wedding day is to get them professionally shaped and tinted. I personally use the HD Brow service, but I would say don't have this done any less than about 3 or 4 days before your wedding, because if you're having your eyebrows plucked or waxed, it can leave spots or redness and things like that, which you don't want on your wedding day. It's just another extra thing to have to worry about covering up. So I'm using those to kind of fill in any sparseness in my brows, and having a really fine pencil just really allows you to kind of draw on individual brow hairs as well. It's just a lot more precise, a lot more natural. I'm using the Benefit Gimme Brow as well to set them into place. And you don't have to use a tinted setting gel to set them into place. If you want a more natural brow look, you can use a clear gel, but I really would recommend using a brow gel on your wedding day because you are going to want to look kind of perfect all day, obviously, and a brow gel will really help you just to keep your brows in place and they won't move from where you want them to be. Then after that, moving on to the eyes. First things first, with your eyes, I'm using a primer. I'm using the Lorac primer today, but you can also use the Urban Decay primer, which is also very, very good. And you want to, again, take this on your ring finger and just dab it onto your whole eyelid and then up to the brow bones as well, because we are getting product there. And then after that, I'm going to use a base color too. And I'm using a cream shadow, again with the cream, so the powder texture layering. I'm using a cream eyeshadow stick all over the eyelid. I'm drawing it on and then I'm blending out using a fluffy blending brush. This one is from NARS, I would highly recommend it. And the cream shadow stick is the Rosy for Autograph one in a kind of warm bronzy, slightly shimmery color. I'm using a shimmery base because I think it's a really nice thing to have a little bit of shimmer on your wedding day, but not too much. So I'm using the shimmery base cream eyeshadow, and then I'm gonna go in using a couple of shades of matte brown from the Naked One palette from Urban Decay, which I would really recommend for wedding makeup. It's lovely. If you are looking for other nude palette recommendations for wedding days, then Marc Jacobs Lolita palette is also beautiful. That's the one I used on my wedding day. And then I'm just using the kind of mid-tone matte browns just to deepen up the look, just to blend them into the socket line and just kind of really help to set that darker shadow into place. I'm not doing anything too dramatic or too kind of ombre or anything really too complicated on the eyeshadows really, because I want to just keep it as natural and diffused as possible. And then moving on to eyeliner, again, I'm using a cream pencil eyeliner. This one is from Jouer. It's amazing. It's so creamy and it stays on for such a long time. So I'm just drawing that onto the upper lash line and then using a little pencil brush just to blend that in and just create that really kind of diffused yet quite intense kind of eyeliner look. You don't want anything too dramatic for your wedding day, but I feel like it's still noticeably there and it's going to add intensity to your lash line. So I'm doing that. I'm also adding a little bit of the product. The product is so soft that you can do this, and that's the great thing about it. I'm just adding a little bit onto the pencil brush itself and then applying it onto the lash line. And then after I've done that, I'm taking a little bit of the darker brown from the Naked One palette, adding that on top again with the cream to powder layering. Are you seeing a pattern yet? I hope so. I'm also going to take a little bit of a medium brown underneath the eyes just to kind of pull everything together and to help frame the eyes even more. And then we're going to go on to mascara. My recommendation for mascaras for wedding day would be the YSL Baby Doll mascara, because it adds volume and length, but it also has a really precise rubber wand that will mean that you get really good definition in your lashes as well. Wedding day mascara is really difficult because a lot of people have their favorite mascara that they want to use, but also a lot of people also want waterproof mascara, and it's tricky to find the perfect waterproof mascara. If you guys want to see a separate video on waterproof mascara, I would be happy to make that. I could talk about it all day long. The YSL mascaras overall are my favorites for performance with both the normal formula and the waterproof formula. So the YSL Baby Doll is my recommendation. If you want waterproof, YSL make great waterproof formulas as well. I'm then going to wait until my mascara is dried before popping on my false eyelashes, so I'm going to jump to do my lips. I'm using a lip pencil today, and not so much for the definition element, but more for the longevity factor. I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in Iconic Nude, which is amazing. It's such a good, natural, soft lip pencil to use. Layering up your lip products really allows you to get an extra depth and dimension to your lip look. It also helps the lipstick to stay on for longer. So I don't really use lip liner for definition as much as I use it for that kind of depth element and the longevity. Then the lipstick I'm using today is MAC's Jubilee. There are so many neutral lipstick recommendations that I have for you guys. It's just best to go and try a load on and find your perfect, your lips but better kind of color. Most people do want to go for that kind of natural blush tone nude on their wedding day. I'm also layering up a lip gloss on top of the lipstick. Today I'm using Hourglass's Truth Extreme Sheen lip gloss, which is so nice, and it just is very kind of creamy and matte. It doesn't have any shimmer to it, so it's really just gonna help make the most of that lipstick underneath. And then last but not least, to finish off the look, I'm using some false eyelashes. Today I'm using a pair from my range for Isla, which are called Fleur Loves. They are so easy and comfortable to wear, and that's the main thing on your wedding day. You don't want to be uncomfortable. And these are 3/4 lashes. They have a really beautiful texture to them. They're kind of crisscross, and they have a really pretty kind of flick at the end. So they look very natural. A lot of people won't be able to tell that you're wearing false lashes, but you'll get that extra kind of volume and dimension to your lashes that just looks so beautiful, and you can wear them all day without them really irritating your eyes. So that's it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you're not already subscribed to the Bride to Force channel, then make sure you click that button and subscribe. We're uploading loads of new content to this channel. My sister Hannah is talking all about wedding planning and DIYs, and then I'll be back here doing lots of beauty things as well. So make sure you subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.